Talking with the experts.
Hello and welcome to Talking with the Experts. My name's Rose Davidson from rosedavidson.com, and Talking with the Experts is about all things business by business owners for business owners, and you can find it on all the popular podcast stations and on YouTube. And today my guest is Stephanie Feger. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. Sorry, I should have asked previously.
And it's even better with your Australian accent.
Oh, lovely. And her business name is Empower PR Group. And we're going to be talking about marketing matters and do they value time over money or money over time? Welcome, Stephanie.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad to be here and be able to share a message that I hope other entrepreneurs, small businesses, and even authors or anyone, quite frankly, can find value in.
Yeah, so Stephanie has been in the business of empowering people for a very long time. She's empowered her teams to collective success. She's empowered individuals, groups, and organisations to embrace perspective as a tool for deeper satisfaction and personal and professional accomplishments. And she's also empowered authors, small business owners, and entrepreneurs with communications and marketing strategies to help them reach their goals. So tell me a little bit more about why or what the difference is valuing time over money or money over time.
Oh, this is such an important topic. And quite frankly, it was something that I learned firsthand as I was growing my own business. So let me share a little bit more about my business journey, because I think it'll help people understand, whoever's listening, understand just why this is extremely critical when you think about your business and you think about how you reach your target audience. So I worked in the PR marketing field for 15 years before I took a pivot to decide to become an author myself, publish a book, and to do that, I actually started a business I never expected to. Quite frankly, I began to be a creative. And as I was creating, ended up being seed money to support me being able to jump off and create Empower PR Group and to be an author and a professional speaker and all that other fun stuff. But my seed money came from a business that came out of nowhere. You know, isn't it interesting that some of the best businesses evolve when you didn't even plan on it happening? It came out of a need or an interest. So I ended up starting a wreath business. I made custom home decor wreaths. And I did it as a fundraiser, really, to be able to start raising funds to support my author journey. Little would I know it would turn into a full-blown business where I made, sold, or taught people to make wreaths. Over 2 years, 1,000 wreaths went all over the United States. And it continues to grow and evolve. Who would have thought a wreath business where you could go to a local store, get a wreath, but this business turned into a creative therapy outlet for me and for other people. I will never forget, I was walking into my local craft store because I had decided, you know what, I have all this fun creative energy I get to do when I create these custom pieces for people. I wanted to give people the opportunity to explore that creative side themselves. So I decided to start teaching classes. And I'll never forget, I walked into the craft store that I was teaching a class for that day. And one of the ladies that was working at the cashier desk stopped me and said, and obviously she knew me because I'd been there so frequent. And she said, Stephanie, aren't you afraid? Aren't you afraid of teaching people the craft that you've perfected, that you're selling to other people? Aren't you afraid they're going to make their own and they won't need you anymore? And I looked at her, and that was one of my key marketing aha moments. And I said, oh, no, I'm not afraid at all. In fact, I think this will actually grow my business. And here's why. It's really critical as a marketer. I know this, and as a small business owner or an entrepreneur, you probably know this too, that it's critical that you know who your target audience is. That whole phrase, the riches is in the niches, is totally spot on. If you try to be everything to everybody, you will be nothing to anyone. So you must niche and you must know your target audience. But here's what I think is the unique element, and really what I want to talk about today, is that if you know your target audience, you want to break that out even deeper into two segments. And that's what I call the people who value time over money and the people who value money over time. So your target audience may love everything that you bring to the table. They may think that your business is critical, your offering is phenomenal. But if you've got somebody that values time over money, they are going to say, my time is too valuable. I just want to pay you to do it. So in my wreath business, they'd say, Stephanie, I don't want to know how to make a wreath. I could care less. I just want you to make it for me. And I'm going to tell you everything and I'll pay you whatever you want me to. Well, that's wonderful. And if some people in their business, that's all they focus on. They decide to give products. They decide to create services and offerings for the people who value their time over their money and have the discretionary funds to be able to invest in you and your products and your offerings. But I think many people forget the second audience. And that second audience is those who value money over time, meaning they might say, you know what, gosh, what you offer is phenomenal. I just am not sure I can invest in that right now. Maybe not at the level that you are giving, or maybe I think it's interesting, but gosh, like, is that how I should invest my money? Those people still love and agree and believe in what you bring to the table, but you need to adapt your business to meet their needs. And that's what I did when I was creating those trainings, those workshops. I was teaching a skill set that allowed them to feel like they could go and create more on their own. Interestingly enough, most of the people that came to my trainings had never purchased a wreath from me because they never valued it in that way. And they ended up coming to multiple workshops, meaning not only did I make an income or revenue off of that one workshop, but they came to several. So it opened up a new line of people that I would never have thought of if I would have just had this silo thinking that I know my target audience and I'm focused on the offering I'm bringing to the table.
Wow, that is a really good analogy of the difference between one and the other. Thank you for sharing that. I wouldn't have thought of it in those terms, and that was really it was simple and described in quite layman's terms. So yeah, great, because you get a lot of these marketing gurus and they use all this jargon and stuff. But yeah, yours was really simple to understand. Not simple, easy to understand.
I know what you mean. Well, and I think if we think about it in business terms, I realize not everyone is a creator. Not everyone is a wreath maker. So if you bring that mentality to your business today, I want you to think about, what is it that you offer to your people? What is it that your target audience needs? I'm a big believer in understanding the difference between wants and needs. If you focus on what your target audience needs, the reality is they will invest in you because they've already budgeted that money, right? If they need professional development, they're going to invest in that. If they need to be able to make a pivot from their business to the virtual world, they're going to invest in you. If they need that, they will spend their money that way. If they want it, then it's a nice to have, maybe if I don't go over the budget this month. Okay. So if you focus on your needs, then think about, all right, I have an offering, and maybe my offering is I want to do one-on-one consulting work, or I want to provide products to people that takes into their home and moves on, right? Maybe those are for the people that value time over money and they're willing to invest. But what about those people who aren't? Have you considered, as a business owner, have you considered creating an online course, right? Maybe you teach them how to do it. Maybe they can't afford to do one-on-one consulting, but they might be able to afford a lesser product cost that they can learn and feel empowered with. Or maybe they want to be a part of a membership that you offer. Maybe they can't afford the full consultation package, but at a lower cost, they could be a part of a membership or group coaching. Or maybe you write a book and it gives them some tools too, right? So that helps you think in your business, how can I still meet my audience, but figure out what their needs are and segment out appropriately.
Yep, that's what I'm doing at the moment. I'm actually doing some coaching for my other arm of my business to learn how to do just that and get my package out there in a way that it's getting to my niche. So yeah, I'm looking forward to finishing that. I'm at the beginning part of the journey. So hopefully by the time the 7 weeks are up, it's out there and ready for people to look at.
You can do it. You can do it.
Yeah. We'll see. Be positive.
Yes.
Okay. So, and you've explained about the 2 subsets of, the business, time over money or money over time. So which do you think, and I know you explained it really, really well, but which would it be most value to a business owner?
It's a really good question. And I think it depends on how the business owner evaluates success for themselves and what their priorities are. So I'll use me for an example. So Empower PR Group is a business where I help small business owners, entrepreneurs, and authors figure out how to market themselves, right? And I do it in a way where I'm empowering people, empowering them to do it so that they don't have to do ongoing investment in an agency, right? I'm teaching them. But that still requires me to do a lot of one-on-one. And when you think about money over time and time over money, you can actually apply that mentality to you as a business owner, right? So there are things that you will say, I value time over money here and money over time there. I've done a lot of reflection and I've been thinking, okay, how can I be most effective to reach my people, to reach those who need what I can bring to the table? Well, if I value my time over money, and I focus on clients that value time over money, there's only so many hours in the day that I can provide where I am working with people. I'm trading money for time, right? So when they work with me, then it's my time that I'm investing in them. But there's only 24 hours in a day, and I have 3 children, and I would really love to watch them grow up, right? And not be stuck on the phone or the computer all of the time. Not that I don't love what I do, but I would love some flexibility there. So I think that it's really important to focus on the audience that values time over money, because I think as a business owner, it helps you better understand what your audience needs, because you're getting into the weeds of your audience. You're understanding them. You're working with them from the consulting standpoint. However, I'll be honest, in today's world, I think business owners need to be thinking about the people that value the money over time, the people who are like, oh, okay, well, I'm willing to invest my time at a lower cost, because I think, quite frankly, that might be where the wave is going and the opportunity exists. I'm a big believer in mapping out a plan. And so I think business owners should sit down and say, what matters to me? Actually, I just did this 2 weekends ago. And I said, all right, how many hours in a week do I have that I want to give to my business? And how can I break that down? And if I evaluated that, I figured this is how many hours I want to do on one-on-one coaching and consulting. And then here's the bucket of hours that I still want to help people, but I've got to get creative in how I do that. That is where I've thought, okay, if I focus on this other audience segment, one that quite frankly, many of us forget, maybe I can create tools and resources that would allow me to reach people I would have never reached before, and do it in a way that quite frankly creates more passive income for me and allows me to reach more people. So I think in today's world with business owners up against a lot of unpredictable times. I mean, this timing is unpredictable. COVID, who would have ever thought, right? This, if you straddle both, if you position yourself in a way that helps people who want to invest in you, but also help people who you're willing to give them the empowerment around, I think you're golden. I think you're sitting in a really good place.
Yep. Makes sense. Makes perfect sense. Yeah. And as I said, this is why my coaching program that I'm doing is going to help a lot of speakers or presenters either do their own thing, or, they can come to me and buy my package where I do it for them. So it's, it's a win-win. I'm giving time for money or money for time. So it's no big deal. And, it's win-win for each of us.
I was going to say that. How wonderful is it that we're in a world where you can create a win-win for everyone, that you've got an offering for those who are interested in investing in you, and you have an offering for those who are willing to invest their time, and you can help them do that. I think that is a beautiful package together. And I think it's the wave of the future. I think that the general consumers are looking for both. And if you only focus on one side, I think you're really missing the opportunities.
I think so too. Yeah, I think because COVID's just messed everything up, and a lot of business owners have had to change directions of their businesses, because quite frankly, the online world and digital world and digital marketing and all that is so much more important now than it was the year before. We can now connect, globally, where we didn't really do that as much because we didn't
Right.
see a need for it, but now there is a definite need for it. And yeah, so
Absolutely.
we're all in this together.
We are, and as a marketer, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because something I usually tell my clients is the best form of marketing is what I call is authentic marketing, and I share that because I'm not so much a big fan of let's come up with your message and just push it out, push it out, push it out. Who can you reach? What are the platforms? How can we communicate? Sure, we do all of that. But when you're authentic, you come from a place of value, and a place of focus, and one where you truly care about who you're wanting to reach. Like, truly, you really want those speakers to feel empowered with the knowledge that they need to be successful. I mean, for me, to help authors be able to amplify this message that they've invested so much time in creating for people, that's so meaningful. When you come from that place and you always focus on delivering value, everything else will fall into place. It's
Absolutely.
the problem. Yeah, the problem comes when you get wrapped up in, oh my goodness, I need to do this and I should do this, and if I don't do this, I'm missing this, and right? Because there's so many marketing opportunities at your fingertips and disposal right now. The right ones are the ones that align with your value system.
I think this is where a lot of marketing coaches or marketing people get it wrong. They are pushing the message that you said, and they're not teaching their clients or coaching their clients on how to be authentic and how to, deliver that authentic message. So, yeah, I think what you've said is very, very poignant and very powerful. And this is what I think, as I said, coaches are missing the point. They're just teaching people how to make the money, get their message out there, where they should be going. They're not teaching them the other side, the softer side, I guess, if you want to say.
I couldn't agree with you more. So I think when I look back at the trajectory of my career, I grew up in the industry with communication and public relations at my core. And I think that's why I look at marketing through this lens, because I know that when you have a good PR and communication strategy, what you're doing is you're building relationships. You're deepening this connection with people. And I'll be honest, that will last so much longer than a like or a comment on social media. When you have these lasting relationships, people will want to invest in you because they like you. And the reality is the only thing that makes you different from the other person that's doing the exact same thing is you. So if you're just focused on what you're giving and how you're giving it, and quite frankly, the marketing approach to do it, you're missing the you in it, and you are what's going to sell your business.
Yeah, and I mean, I know that the message is that, when you're delivering your message as a business owner, you've got to do the what's in it for me. I know, I understand all that, so that you've got to ask yourself, what is the client going to get out of the whole message or the whole process or whatever? But if you're not giving of yourself, then you can't deliver a good product, I don't believe, or a good service. You have to give yourself.
So think about the products that you buy. What is it about those products that you love the most? Is it really the product? I mean, sometimes it is, but many times it's the connection to the product. It's the story that the product brings. It's how the product makes you feel. I'm thinking, as I'm saying this, I'm thinking about my favorite skincare line. I'm a big Lush fan. I don't know if you're familiar with the Lush product. Okay, big fan of Lush. And every time I walk in the store, I always buy something, if I need it or not. I always do, because I just feel it. I could close my eyes and just feel it. I know what they stand for. All of that is a PR communications best-selling effort.
Nice.
It smells good, right? And you can bring that smell into your home, right? And so you feel connected. That is a marketing strategy, but it's not a typical marketing strategy. That is a relationship. When you think about how do I build relationships with people, that's why if you want to truly build a relationship with people, you do think about the people that value money over time and time over money, because you care about your people. You're not just trying to figure out a way to make more money or to grow your business. That will happen. but you're doing it because you care about the needs that your people have. And some people can't afford some of your offerings in some ways, or don't have the time to invest, or what have you, because you care. And when you come from that place of caring, it shows, it's authentic, it will grow your business.
Absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. And I just think that those who just in it for the money, don't go there. Just don't go there.
Right. Like, I just want to, the people who have approached me and are like, I want to be an author because I want to have the fame and fortune. And there are times I'm like, yeah, okay, great. Maybe writing a book's not your strategy, right? Or whatever. Maybe there's some different strategies to that, because I sit back and think, not that it wouldn't be great for people to have some of those accolades and meet those milestones, but your why needs to be deeper. And I think when you've got the deeper why, that'll help you through crazy times like COVID, and it'll prepare you for new crazy times ahead. And it will position you for success, even amongst challenge.
Yep, I agree. Anyway, Stephanie, so what is the title of your book?
My book is called Color Today Pretty, an inspirational guide to living a life in perspective. Hold on, it's right behind me. Let me show you.
Yep.
Yeah. So Color Today Pretty is actually, it is a collection of individual vignettes that have occurred to me over my life, some heavy, some not, but it invites readers in to be able to, some vulnerable situations, to help people say, there's a lot of things in my life I can't control, but there are some things I can control. So I had started writing as a therapeutic outlet, quite frankly. And it was only after I had been writing for 5 years that I realized that when you want to live a life in perspective, I had found a 7-step process to do it. And it was through the writing and the synthesizing. And when you know that process, when you know how you can have perspective on your side, you can live a more fulfilled life. You can redefine what success and happiness looks like. You can reach new dreams and accomplishments, and you're not quite scared to try something, because you then realize that every step you take has purpose. And everything happens not on purpose, but for purpose. Yeah. So I look back at this last year with the pandemic, and while I would not have wished that on anyone or at our country and our world at all, there's some beautiful purpose that has evolved from that. Some beautiful blessings and opportunities, quite frankly, like you mentioned, a more deeper connected world that we are, that has purpose. And there are things, if you shift your mindset within your business, that you can adjust and find purpose in some of the challenging times. And I think it helps you live a little more freely and with a little more positive energy.
I think so. So have you got any wise words as we finish up today?
I have one more little story I'd like to share.
Sure.
Right when COVID hit, I was a part of a leadership cohort group. And I remember it was a women's leadership group that we were all on this call. There was like 6 or 7 of us. And we had a speaker come on that was actually supposed to be helping us figure out how to sell our product better. Well, of course, how do you sell when the world stopped and nobody knew if they would have jobs, right? All of that. I will never forget what a woman said. She said, how do we shift how we think? In fact, many people challenge us to think differently. You're always challenged to think differently. She said, I challenge you to think different. And she said, what does that mean? And we went around the group, and I think I was the last one that answered. And this was a light bulb moment for me, and it changed everything in how I saw business. She said, what does that mean for you? I said, what it means for me is to think differently, is to think outside the box, the proverbial box that everybody thinks about. The reality is we live in a world where you need to compartmentalize that box. You need to not fully close the box, but take that box and put it in the corner. And now's the time to think different, where you create a whole new box. So from a marketing lens, I really challenge people to think different now, to reevaluate how they're doing their business. Don't close what you've done in the past, but it may just not be applicable to the world today. From a marketing lens, on how you market what you do, really take a step back and say, who are my target audience? What do they need? And how can I think different? How can I recreate a new box to work within? Or maybe it's not even a box. Don't limit yourself. And who knows, maybe when you can pull out that compartmentalized box, you might realize that wasn't even a fun box anyways. And now you have a whole new way of doing business that might be more effective, efficient, and exciting.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's a great story. And you've actually told heaps of great stories today, and I've really enjoyed every single one of them. All right, Stephanie, hopefully we can talk again later in the year, because I've really enjoyed our chat today. And so people can find you where?
You can find me on pretty much any social platform, or you can visit my website, which is www.empowerprgroup.com. So that's empowerprgroup.com.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time today. I've really enjoyed it.
Me too. Thank you.